Hello, everyone. This is Will,
And this is Alex.
and welcome back to They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Mostly.
Well, 1972 is off to a great start.
Holy shit.
Wow. I gotta need another beer. Sorry,
How do you,
just give me it. Sorry. Just,
Yeah, I'll need one too.
Yeah, pardon me.
How do you feel about kung fu movies, Will?
I absolutely love kung fu movies.
Hmm.
Even bad ones, right?
Hmm.
Okay, I enjoy bad ones. I've seen some really terrible ones. One of my favorites is Street Fighter, and some would argue that's even a bad one.
No.
Compared to this movie, though... Oh, by the way, I'm super excited to announce this is our first... I don't know if I should be excited, because now I'm not. I was excited that this is our first kung fu movie, right? I was like, yes, we're finally doing...
Our first action movie in general.
Yeah. Well, some would argue Brain of Blood is an action movie
Yes.
and more.
Yeah.
But
But IMDb listed that as a horror movie. This
okay.
is the first one.
It is a horror movie. So this is our first action movie and our first kung fu movie.
Fitting.
Wow. Boy, I wish we started on a different a different
I
note.
don't.
That was
That was a religious experience.
something.
16 fight scenes?
16
I stopped counting.
incoherent, terrible, just... I had no idea what was going on half the time in the fight scenes. They would cut things off, like, just randomly. I'm getting on the tangent, like, before we even, like, get into, like, what the movie's about. But
About?
It's gonna be so easy to explain this one.
About?
It's-
Whoa.
Like...
Are you saying this has a plot?
Like, almost...
Hmm.
Okay, so, action movies always have this reputation, right? That there's not really any plot to them. Which, a lot of them, to be fair, there's not. But, like, at least most, like, good action movies know when to do plot and when to do action scenes, right? This one just relies solely on action scenes and then does very, and I mean extremely minimal plot.
Minimal is right, yeah.
It's extremely minimal. Like, they don't explain any of the names. They don't explain motivations. They don't,
Names?
like, at least in other action movies, like, the villains have, like, a motivation or, like, a reason why they're doing what they're doing. They didn't even explain that. They didn't even, like, bother to explain why the bad guy did what he did.
You said a very interesting word there. You used the word names.
Oh, yeah.
I know why.
Yeah, go ahead and tell them.
Because all the character names are the names of the fucking actors.
Yeah, like...
All of them. The lead actress is Chung Ching Ching. Guess what her character name is?
Chung Ching Ching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Shocking. Yeah, Ming, etc. It's all...
I have to... I just have to, like, get like, on a tangent about this, because it's such a bad action movie in every single regard. It doesn't do anything right.
Oh,
It's
it
just-
does, it has some lovely dummies that they swing around.
Yes. It's beautiful.
It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, man. And
They
like,
have some lovely trampolines. Many trampolines.
I'm surprised they even bothered to put those off screen, but everything else is off screen, so why not put the
Yes.
trampolines off screen too?
Half the characters are off screen, so why not have,
The fight scenes, like, when they're fighting, like, everything's off. You don't know when people are dying. You have no idea
No.
when they get stabbed.
people
They
get
have-
stabbed with weapons
like-
that they did not have.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's worth talking about the quote-unquote plot. We might as well just talk about the things. Like,
So I think we should briefly go over kind of like a nutshell version of what the plot is, because there's no, like, scenes to break down here.
no.
There's, like, it's kind of weird. Like,
Other than the very, very romantic scene of her dressing his wound.
well, there's, like, the beginning that we can explain a little bit, but it's not important. Like, nothing. none of these, like, unlike the other movies we've watched, we actually need to explain the plot, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one, like, it's just... So, I guess we'll kind of... I'll try and explain... Like, we'll try and explain it. So, we get an opening shot of these dead warriors, right?
Pop song.
Oh, that's right. She's walking through the woods, and we get a pop song.
Yes. Very fitting.
It doesn't fit the film at all.
You sure?
Yeah.
You know, because keep in mind, this movie takes place in, like, 18th century, something like that.
Yeah, 18th century China, something like that, yeah.
So, you know, pop music is very... I don't know, that's very fitting.
So she goes to a cliff and, like, views a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what's the importance? And then it just cuts to, like... Cuts instantly to... Oh, it cuts to the old man's, like... He's
There's
like,
a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't remember what the fuck he was saying. He was telling them to find someone.
Right, and then... so... There's a meeting with all these soldiers and this guy, and he's telling him to find a certain woman or something like that. And then you see this vagabond, this, like... they're carrying a woman...
In a porta potty.
It looks like more of like a ceremonial, like...
I know.
I don't know.
It's a porta potty.
And, like, I noticed the drape, it doesn't look like... it's not ornate or anything. It literally just looks like a cloth they cut. And, like,
because it is a cloth they just cut out.
Right, but it's not ornate. It's not, like, decorated.
Oh,
so,
no.
Like, on most of those things, you would see, like, very, like, ornate decorations and, like, you know, or a house sigil or something like that.
Nope.
But no, you don't see any of that.
Nope, you get nothing.
Oh, I should mention that Ching Ching's finds one of the
symbols.
The symbols.
Mm-hmm.
She just takes it off one of the dead guys.
It's the symbols of the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of them wear the symbol. All of them. And also in that meeting scene, that's when you first find out that there's an awful lot of characters being cut off by the sides of the screen.
They'll be like talking, but you won't show their face at all.
Yes.
It just kind of shows
They're just
them
looking
off camera.
off screen.
Yeah.
And then and it happens during the talking scenes, happens during the action scenes, happens during the whole goddamn movie.
I have a feeling the director had no idea how to actually use a camera.
Apparently.
Because he never got, like, the right shot.
Nope.
He would always, like, jump around a lot. Oh, speaking of jumping, there's a lot of jumping in this
Lots
movie.
of zooms.
Lots of zooming, lots of just, like, weird angles that, like... Not like kind of avant-garde angles. It was just angles that shouldn't be there. Like, they would, like, zoom away from something that was happening, or, like, an action scene would happen, and they would cut away from it, like, immediately.
I wish it was avant-garde.
It made, like, all the deaths, like, just kind of not, like, I don't know, it made him not as...
Good?
Like, entertaining to watch. Because you're, like, supposed to watch all these, like, big bads dying, right? And, like, every time they would die on screen, you would be so confused as to what actually happened.
I know why.
Because
they would also die from weapons that just magically come out of nowhere.
And, like, I was more confused than, like, yeah, they got him. Like,
No.
you know, like, usually when, like, in, like, action movies, when they get the bad guy, I'm just like, yeah, they got him.
Nope.
No, they just cut away.
No.
Except for the big bad. They did show how he died, but...
No. See, here's the thing. They do technically show how they die. They just fuck everything up.
Yeah.
And I mean everything. Weapons that somehow come out of nowhere. Just weak deaths.
I think later in this episode we should break down one of the fight scenes
Which one?
just to get across. I think
The last one?
either that we should break down the last one. We need to break down the
Definitely
last
talk
one.
about the last one.
But I think we also need to talk about the fight scene with the guy with the leopard boots, because that's
We want your money. Him?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about that fight
Because
scene
you
too.
rewinded that and you still didn't.
I had to rewind it because I got so confused about what was actually happening.
Like I told you.
And I was still confused.
I told you. The rewind is not going to help you with this one. It can't.
So we get her so she, so the little caravan goes off, and they carry this woman down this road, and then we see.
Don't forget, they're being watched.
Yeah.
And we know they're being watched because it keeps showing shots from some guy's legs. Remember? Between his legs.
He's telling them to like follow the to where they are, because I think it establishes they're trying to kidnap the prince.
Yes.
And she's going back to where the prince is.
Yes.
So,
it's interesting that you say you think, because you kind of have
seriously, I'm confused. This movie is so confusing.
It's as good a theory as any.
So we get Ching comes back, and she sits down to drink
something.
She sits down with
fucking,
a bunch of the soldiers because she's going to interrogate
and they're
them.
being assholes.
They're being assholes.
They're like laughing,
talking about how they're going to get so many women when they get back to where they're going.
And one of them looks at her and is like, "Is it a boy or a girl?" We're just like,
And I'm like, that's clearly a woman.
That's very clearly a woman.
But okay.
But okay, and keep in mind, they were laughing hysterical after every fucking thing they say, and this is dubbed. And the dubbing and the dialogue is fucking hilarious.
This is one of those instances where, like, sometimes, like, I'll be watching, like, an action movie, and I'll be really, like, I like the action scenes, but the dubbing's really bad.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that's the only way you can consume it, right?
Yeah.
But, like, so the action scenes will be really well filmed, but the dubbing is just god-awful. No. This movie is special because everything's bad.
See, it's not just that. It's like the dubbing is god-awful, but the dialogue itself
is bad.
It's ridiculous.
So even if they translated it, it's still a bad script.
It's so bizarre. Like,
unless they just made a completely new script, I don't know.
Nobody in this talks like any fucking human being on the planet. Ever. Ever.
I wonder if they, like, directly translated it.
Oh, like Google Translate?
Well, like the 1972 version of Google Translate, because that's kind of like how it came across. Like, they didn't really research too much on it. They just like roughly translated it, and then was like, yeah, that sounds good.
See, like, the dialogue, I'm putting this in air quotes, makes sense. It's just, it's almost like it's way too...
It's conveyed in a way that, like, no one like, expresses like that. Like,
it's off. The whole thing is off.
Like, you and me just, like, talk casually and stuff like that, and, like, I feel like a lot of the characters in this film are supposed to be talking like that.
If aliens from outer space made a movie about how they think human beings talk,
this is it. Yeah, it'd be this dubbing.
Maybe that's what this is.
Yeah.
This is an alien film.
It could be. Who's the director? The Wong Tin Lam.
That's a fake name.
Is it?
Yeah, because he's the fucking alien.
Oh, okay.
From Mars. This is the kind of movies they make.
Maybe.
The Fist That Kills.
Maybe just some aliens that are really into Kung Fu.
Did we even mention the title? It's The Fist That Kills.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know if we did.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's bullshit.
I mean...
It's a Kung Fu movie. It has fist in the title. What?
I was going to say, in an action movie, is the title really that important?
Sometimes. In this, though, I don't know.
So, she sits down, they exchange words, they get kind of into it, and then she starts fighting. But it's not really fighting. She just, like, the choreography, I don't know, like...
Oh, choreography!
I don't get it. Because, like, they just basically told them to wave their arms in the air.
So here's what they told them. They told her to kind of, like, go back and forth, wave her arms, and then they told the other actors to come at her and then fly back. Come at her, fly back. Rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat.
Yeah, just as she raises her arms, fly back. And then come at her again until she raises her arms again, and then fly back.
Eventually, the trampolines come into play, because in all these older Kung Fu movies, people just hop around like crazy.
Well, in older ones, it looks a lot better than it did in this one.
I don't know.
It wasn't
There's some sick fucking...
Parkour,
fucking
man.
Straight angle fucking flying, like, punches and shit.
It reminded me of the Godzilla movie when he like slides on his tail. Like he's like perfectly vertical.
Or remember Crank 2?
Yes.
The pretend kaiju fight? Remember how he like flies across the thing like straight? And
Yeah.
just punches him? That's this movie.
That's
Except this wishes it could be Crank 2. It fucking wishes.
Oh man. So she fights them, they fly back.
But eventually the real shit happens because she punches one of them and he flies off camera.
And then it's off camera still, and then it just shows a shot of him like impaled on a log, like a pole sticking
A
up in
pole
the air.
that's just there.
Yeah.
And then she throws another one and he flies onto like the roof of that whatever the fuck and falls down. And we're just like, okay.
And it was so incoherent because every time she'd punch him, they'd like it would be off screen, and then they would just fly, and they would cut, and they would like instantly cut to like them like just falling off something.
Yeah.
And we were just like baffled at what actually happened.
Yeah.
Because it never showed like the connecting hit.
Uh-huh.
It never showed like
No.
where they were going.
You know, all it is, you don't even see any like hits. All you just hear.
Oh, and
Yeah, every time she hops in the air, you hear like wings flapping, like a bird. For some reason, I don't know. It's an artistic decision.
I guess so.
Yeah.
You know, John Woo has doves flying like away in like a lot of his
John
shots.
Woo ripped this movie off.
Yeah, he did.
Oh shit!
Yo, we figured it out.
John Woo's a fucking hack.
John,
Confirmed.
John Woo stole a theory. John Woo stole his ideas from the fist
Oh,
that
man,
kills.
I take it all back. This movie's a masterpiece. This movie's a masterpiece.
Chow Yun Fat ain't got nothing of Chung Ching Ching. Okay?
This movie's so good it didn't even use makeup character names.
No,
It's just the actor.
it doesn't have to.
It's a documentary.
Oh my god. It's so hard to talk about the story of this movie because it's
It's
just...
bullshit. Well, after this, there's another fight scene, and it's the... I guess she's like the princess or something?
I don't know. It doesn't say anything.
She's the daughter of this guy, and she's the person in the porta potty. I'm gonna call it the fucking porta potty for reasons of simplicity. So she's being carried, and they get attacked. And then... whatever the fuck his name is, saves them.
Yeah, he goes by a different name to try and
Disguise himself.
disguise himself, but he fights him off and then saves the girl,
Brings her to her father.
brings her to her father,
and the
then,
father is immediately like, hey, you should marry my daughter.
yeah, thank you for saving my daughter. You should marry her. And the
Yeah.
daughter's like totally okay with it because she's
Yeah.
listening on the sidelines.
Yeah.
like okay, like
And,
just like
and he's just like, okay, I'll marry your daughter. And then another guy shows up, and he's like, oh, so this is the guy who's gonna marry your daughter, huh?
I don't trust him.
I don't trust him. He's like, why don't you trust him? I see his face. I don't trust that face. And they have a quick little fight scene.
Yep, in the little place, and then
The little house.
the guy that accused the other guy of being bad was like, I will not help you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, rescue the prince.
Yeah.
And then we get a scene of one of the prince's bodyguards, like, stumbling in with the prince.
Mm-hmm.
And he collapses and explains how they were ambushed.
Yes,
and,
by a guy who shoots daggers out of his vest.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Yeah, they look like banana peels.
Yes. But apparently, no. They're not banana peels. They're fucking daggers, because he just shoots them.
They don't look sharp enough to pierce anything,
Oh, no.
though. But they do.
They do, and it's also
they
worth
kill
mentioning
people.
that up until the last fight scene, there is no fucking blood in this movie.
None.
Until the last fight scene, when you finally see blood, and you're like, oh, right. I forgot. Kung Fu movies usually have blood in them.
So then he explains how they were ambushed. The prince hid under a bunch of
A pile of dead bodies.
bodies.
The prince is like
And
10 years old, by the way.
And then he dies, and then everything's like hunky dory, right? But no.
Mm-mm.
So the prince. So what happens now? The prince gets kidnapped.
They're taking the prince to the capital.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Something.
Because he's gonna get like sworn in as the king. Or
Yes. Something.
And so
Keyword something.
So then they get ambushed again.
Again.
And we get a fight scene where
Again.
he shoots the freaking dagger.
No. I don't.
Oh
think
no. Yeah, sorry, no. So we get a scene.
He gets lassoed.
He gets lassoed up a hill, and they think,
And it's pathetic.
and they keep fighting, and the girl tries to save him, and they bungee around, and
We should talk more about the lasso. So, okay, this fight seems like...
what? How he loosely drapes it over the prince and
So this
drags
fight
him up a
seems-
hill.
Yes. So this fight seems stupid because it's shot really wide, and it's just people flailing around.
It looks so. Have you ever seen like a LARPing video?
That's exactly what this fucking movie looks like.
It looks like a bunch of people who don't
Go
know
on
how to
YouTube.
fight.
Go on YouTube. Type in Star Wars fan film.
No, I take it back. I take it back. Those guys are actually probably better at fighting
No.
than these actors.
Watch
are.
like those videos of like nerds like in the woods, like awkwardly smacking plastic lightsabers. That's this movie.
It's great because like they just I guarantee you they just got a bunch of extras, gave them swords,
Yes.
and we're like, hey, pretend to fight.
That's that fight scene
That was the direction they gave them.
because it's wide and you can't see.
That's
any...
not just this fight scene. That's every fight scene from here on out.
pretty much.
Every fight scene that has like a bunch of soldiers, except for we got to talk about the fire fight scene too.
Oh, the best. That fucking. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, but every fight scene that has like a large number of people on it, like no choreography. They
No.
just like were like, hey, pretend to fight.
Pretend to fight,
There you go.
and only in the close-ups does anything actually happen.
But it's just
But-
a bunch of people like flailing like swords
Yeah.
around and like
And you
jumping
just
back
hear-
and like
you just hear sound effects.
ting 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 ting
Yeah.
ting 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 ting
But
ting ting.
this guy on top of this hill lassos the prince, okay, and slowly drags him up a hill, a tiny hill.
So we forgot to mention at first they think it's the guy that didn't want to help
Yes,
them,
their friend.
their friend, and that he's come to help them.
Yes, and then no.
But he lassos the prince. He just throws it off this hill and somehow just drapes gently over
Like a fucking rodeo.
the prince, and then he just drags him up this small,
Yeah, and the prince is
Dirt
like,
mound.
"No, help me, help me."
and no one comes to help him.
Nope.
Except for the girl. She comes back and
Sort of.
they kind of fight, and then
They have a
like,
duel.
cuts his cheek, and they fight some more, and then they go back to then they get away. They go back to the old man's place. They never explain who he is to the prince either.
No.
Is he the father? Is he? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Does anyone know? I don't think anyone knows.
So they explain that it's the Dragon Clan, and like they need to take down the dragon head,
Yeah.
but they don't know who he is.
He's in the Dragon Fortress.
So they start accusing the guy that said that he wouldn't
Yes.
go along with him because the other guy was evil.
And there's another fight scene.
And there's another fight scene, and he fights them all off
Fights them all off
because
beats
he's
the shit
not
out of
guilty.
them.
He's not
Yes,
guilty.
he jumps through a fucking roof. Remember that?
Yes.
He beats a bunch of them up, and by beats them up, I mean they all run at him, and he
And he flails
does
around.
the same. He does the same two moves, knocks a bunch of them out, gets on top of their bodies, and launches himself up out of this building.
Yep.
They fight outside, and then the woman shows up. They fight.
She beats the shit out of him.
Yes, and then they decide that they're gonna arrest him.
Yep. And then the other guy's like, "We should torture him. That's the
yeah.
only way to get a confession out of him."
Yeah. Well, they say it twice, because first they say we should torture him, and then afterwards there's like a scene where they're talking, and then some guard just walks in. He's like, "He's not talking. We should torture him." Like,
We should flog him or something.
flog
like that.
him. Yeah.
And then, so they think he's guilty, and then we get a bunch more fight scenes.
So they hire the old man, whoever the fuck he is, hires the woman
Yeah.
to find the prince. And it immediately cuts to her in the fucking like bad
Dragon
guys.
lair.
Yes.
Like the the temple where they're
Yes. She immediately is detected.
at. Well, because she doesn't hide her face at all. She's just like
No.
glaring at them while
yeah.
they're doing all this stuff. And you figure out that the head of the dragon wants to like make the prince a king.
Yes. Why, Will?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't understand it.
I don't either. But there's another fight scene, and eventually a bunch of bozos with fucking fire, like candles, on their fucking head.
Yeah, they have like these mounts that have just a bunch of fire wicks
Yes.
on them.
And their feet. They also have like a candle on their feet.
And their hands.
Yes.
And they start doing like trapeze
Yes.
moves. Like,
And
they
these,
start, like,
and these other guys
somersaulting.
have like torches. And they also start doing like
like
little...
somersaulting. It's like a fire show.
Yes.
You just get a little fire show while she's trying to like fight them.
You see her like trying to fight them, but all you see is like these idiots with fire on their fucking head. Just
Flipping
flipping around.
Yeah, they're just flipping around while like a circle of like baddies.
We were losing our shit.
It was hilarious.
It is hilarious because they literally have candles on their fucking head for no reason. Like, because they could?
So then they disorient her with the fire and
Somehow.
she like pretends to collapse.
Yes.
And then they all surround her and then she just like comes up and they all flail back.
Yeah, she
Eh.
just rises up and they all just launch back. Yeah.
And then she gets away and goes back and frees the guy and is like, he's not the
one.
He's not the one. And
He's pissed off.
well, I mean,
He's-
obviously, he kept trying to tell them he's
Yeah.
not. He didn't have anything to do with it, and they tortured him. They did all this stuff, and then they're just supposed to be like, "Whoops, we made a mistake. Sorry."
He's emo now. He's
Yeah,
very
he's very emotional.
He's very emo. So he goes back home and he's still emo, and she's already there. And she's like, "I'm gonna heal your wounds."
Yep. So
And
she
he's
starts
pissed off.
He's pissed off, but like she kind of
He
like-
throws a couple arrows at her.
throws arrows.
Yes.
Not like puts them in a bow.
No.
Just throws them.
He throws them so hard they fly and almost fucking hit her.
And then she's like flipping all over his
And
house.
she like smacks his shoulder and he like falls straight into bed. And
And then he's like, okay, I'll
Okay.
let you treat my wound.
yeah, and then she treats his wounds, whatever.
And then, of course, understandably so, he's like, I'm not going to help you
Yeah.
guys. Like, it's not
And
going to
she's
happen.
like, she gives him an ultimatum, tells him, you should help us, and even if you don't want to help us now, like, we will meet you at this place.
And if
But just know that if you don't help us,
you're a coward.
you're a coward. And then it does like the dun 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 music. Yeah.
So we get a scene of, like, one of the advisors to the old man, like, doesn't trust the other guy as well. And then the old man's like, oh, you know this family very well that he's pretending, that the evil guy is pretending to be. And he's like, do you know this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, no, I've never seen him. And the girl's like, does he have a dark scar above his brow?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, he does. And like,
I
then
know
they
who that is.
then they figure out it's the dragon.
Well,
head.
first of all, you should mention that she says it so casually.
I know who that is.
I know who that is. That's so and so from the evil keyword evil dragon clan.
Yeah, Dragon Fortress or whatever.
And then it does this like ridiculous zoom up of the old guy's face. He's just like, "What?"
like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah. This guy is literally a gold digger.
Oh, fuck.
So he's literally a gold digger.
Yeah.
Because he says that his whole scheme is that he marries rich women for their money.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's something.
Ah.
Then they're like,
But I think he's trying to become like a pseudo, like maybe
you think?
like royalty because he wants to marry into this royal family. I'm just guessing here because it doesn't explain it.
Who needs explanations?
So then he
Who
kidnaps.
needs explanations when you got sick
Then,
fight scenes?
then he kidnaps the daughter,
Yeah.
and then we just get a bunch of scenes of them freeing the daughter. The prince gets free. They get kidnapped again. They fight. The daughter gets free. The girl rescues the prince and the princess. They get free. They get captured again. They like it's literally the same thing that starts
I should
happening.
mention the attempted rape.
Oh yeah, when they get back to the Dragon Fortress and like
Yeah.
he throws her on the bed
And then he throws himself on the bed and just like fucking body slams onto the bed as
she moves away.
She moves away and walks off. And he's just like, ha 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 ha. And then he keeps like teleporting behind her, in front of her, behind her, in front of her. She just walks right into him, and then she starts walking the other way, and then he's immediately there. Rinse, repeat, and each fucking time she does this, he's just like, ha 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 ha.
And all his henchmen, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
It's like fucking what's his name from Dexter's Lab?
Yeah.
So eventually, out of fucking nowhere,
The girl is back
the woman shows up,
at the Dragon Fortress.
and she is immediately like, you know why I'm here. Like I'm here to get the prince and whatever she is.
Whatever her name is, yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, it'll be as easy as pie. And he's like, enough of this stupid talk. Easy as pie. Kill her.
So then we get a bunch of like scenes of them rushing her. She flails her arms up in the air. They fall back. They go back in. She flails her arms up in the air.
There's
they fall back.
people
they go
being
back in.
thrown like fucking dummies, because they are.
And incoherent deaths.
And there's a point when he and her are fighting, and his fucking foot. Remember, he kicks like this wooden thing,
Post, yeah.
and it leaves a fucking foot mark in it.
But not like a deep foot mark. It's
No.
like a little indentation.
Yeah,
Like he kicked it just
so
hard.
hard.
Well, no, not so hard that it left like a
Yeah.
huge footprint. It's just hard enough that it left like a little thing you'd leave in the snow. Like it's like this little tiny, like
Yep.
just a footprint in the snow.
Yep.
But it's on a wooden post.
Mm-hmm. So she gets them, and they escape.
They escape, and then they get captured again, and then that's the whole rest of the movie.
Pretty much. It's all kind of a blur, because there's like a billion fight scenes after this, and they are all like 30 seconds long.
So, I mean, eventually the other guy comes back together, was tortured.
So, let's talk about the parts of this movie that did matter in the end.
You mean the parts that were the most hilarious?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, there is this there's this bad woman. I don't know who the fuck she is.
I think we should talk about the eyebrows part,
Oh.
We need to talk about that fight scene,
Yeah.
because he's one of the big henchmen.
So, there's just these idiots standing on this road, and they have, like, fucking boots with tiger skin on them, and they have, like...
They're like a clan that's helping the Dragon
Yeah.
Fortress.
And they're, like, the Tiger Clan. So, of course, tiger skin boots, and they have, like, a fucking tiger skin on their, like, arms, okay?
The cuffs, yeah.
Of course. And the good guys come up to them, and these guys they're like, what are you doing here? They're like, the guy says, I want your money.
I want your money.
And they just start fighting. Again, shit, just awful fight scene.
And then
Mid-fight scene.
He stands back, and like the daggers come out of the middle of his belt.
Yes. Yeah, he has a belt, and there are two daggers, right?
Yeah, 2 daggers.
2 daggers that just pop out of there.
And then he just, Supermans himself across the screen.
He's Superman's across the screen.
And he cuts this guy's eyes, like, and he's like,
He cuts this guy's eyes, and the guy has, like, these tiny little cuts on his eyes.
Yeah, and he falls down, he's dead.
It's enough to kill him. And then he's, like, fighting another one of the guys, and, like, he's just like, I've already killed 2 of you.
So they get to the forest, and the guy that got wrongfully accused is, like, confronting the guy, and they start fighting, and he brings out the daggers, Superman's across, the guy avoids him, and then they, like, fly at each other.
Well, they do it a couple of times. They'll fly up in the air, and then it'll show a close-up of something, and then they fall, and then they come back down.
Yeah.
And then they do it again.
No, like, the third one, like, the guy yells, and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And they come down, and so the guy, I should mention, the guy was holding one guy was holding a spear,
Yes.
and the other guy had no weapons.
Oh, he had the best weapon.
The belt dagger.
Which did nothing for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had the belt daggers, and then, like, they come down, and the guy's still holding the spear, and the other guy has a sword in his back.
He's just has a sword in his back.
I'm like, where the fuck did that sword come from? Just out fucking nowhere. It's just
Magic.
like it just appeared, just right in his back. Like
magic.
I don't get. I like
Who
it's just
knows?
like sword right there.
Who the fuck knows? I have no clue. There's a bunch of that stuff though.
So then we get more fight scenes, and
The
then
other one that's important is there's a bad woman.
yeah,
We have no clue who the fuck she is, why she's so badass.
they showed her a few times in the beginning, but like there's no like
Yeah.
she literally like I say it showed her a couple times. It showed her for like maybe 10 seconds. It just showed her on the side.
She's the one who told them they should get rid of the prince because
Yeah.
he's a little brat.
Right.
But other than that, I have no fucking clue who she is.
I don't even.
She's
it
just
doesn't
the
explain.
henchwoman. But she gets into a fight with the woman, and so I'm not going to mention the plot because it doesn't matter. They get kidnapped again, and then et cetera, whatever. But she fights her, and apparently she throws a poison dagger.
Into Ching, right?
Yeah, into her back. And then the fucking bad guy has like a goddamn 2-minute monologue explaining the biology of this fucking thing.
Of what it's gonna do to her.
He's like, it's gonna infect her bloodstream, and then it's gonna coagulate her blood, and then she will turn red, and then she will swell up,
and there's pus gonna
and
come
then
out.
pus
of it,
is gonna
and
come
it's
out,
gonna go black,
and her
then,
brain is gonna die.
And if that doesn't kill her, the pain will.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Man, I know he's trying to scare like the princess or whatever, but it just comes off really stupid.
But Will, did it scare you?
So then,
That's the question.
no.
Oh.
So then Ching is like crawling around on the grass and she passes out.
Yeah.
And then it shows the guy with the spear like defeating the weird dagger.
Yeah.
Not the dagger belt guy, but the guy that can shoot the
Yeah. Yeah.
his armor.
Weak fucking death.
And they just spin it and like it like kills all his men.
Yeah.
They spin the spears like really slowly, and that's like
Okay, yeah.
deflects
he
the daggers.
He throws the daggers, and yeah, they slowly, all of them, spin their spears, and it ricochets them right back.
Yep, and kills all his men, and then they cut his armor off, and then just stab him.
Yes, no, don't forget, they fly into the fucking air, and then the next thing you see is he just stabbed him with the spear.
They do that every time. They just
Oh, yeah.
fly in the air, and then they're dead.
Yep.
Like it's just like
It's like an excuse for them not
it's
to show.
so incoherent.
It's like it's like the go-to excuse to not show any actual death.
Right.
It's just like, oh, someone has to die. Just fly them in the air, and we'll figure it out. We'll just figure it out.
They'll just land, and they'll just somehow be.
Don't worry.
They'll just somehow.
He'll have
be
a
dead.
sword in his back
It's-
for no
it's
reason.
Fine.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
So they're done with
just
that.
go with it.
And eventually he finds her laying in the grass.
And they like props her up, and she says how she got hit by a dagger. And then one of our favorite scenes.
He punches. So she says the dagger is barbed, and then she does like this kind of motion, like, and we're just like,
Like,
what the fuck?
She like pushes
Like this,
the
like
air.
this pushing motion.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck? And he punches her fucking shoulder, and punches the goddamn dagger.
It doesn't show the dagger coming out.
No.
But, like he just punches her.
He punches the fucking dagger out of her. Can't explain that. Can't explain that.
Yep. So then all of a sudden she's fine again.
Yes, and eventually there's a fight scene with the henchwoman,
Yeah.
and again, we'll have to talk about the ending of this fight scene, because they fight, and they kill like the henchmen with her, sort of, and at the end they're fighting, and we see her being like tied up. Remember?
Yeah.
And he throws a dagger and kills her, but not just her. Maybe you can explain this to me, Will. Why the fuck are there two henchmen right next to her? And how the fuck did they die?
I don't know, cause like, so it's like it's the old man's like, so it's not the henchman. So she gets tangled up because she's bringing all these prisoners, and the prisoners tangle her up.
Yeah.
In the rope.
Yeah.
That they're in, and he throws the dagger at her, and for some reason, and I don't understand at all, both the two prisoners have daggers in their backs as well. Did he just kill all three of
thought
them?
I thought those guys were bad guys.
No, they're not.
But why though?
They were trying to tie her up to help to help Jing and the other guy.
But why though?
I don't know.
You sure?
I don't know why he threw one dagger.
Why would he kill the prisoners?
I don't know.
Is he an asshole?
Maybe.
Oh my.
I mean, this whole movie's an asshole. So.
True.
So now okay. So now we have to talk about the final scene.
The greatest.
After all that, like, wild goose chase, like, it kind of reminds me of, like, you know those old Scooby-Doo episodes where they run through one door and out the other?
Yeah,
and, like,
pretty much.
It's like that, but, like,
yeah.
just them kidnapping the prince and the princess and, like, getting into, like, these random-ass fights, like, for, like...
30 seconds.
For, like, an hour.
Bullshit.
It's an hour of this shit, and then we get the final, like, confrontation.
Big confrontation.
Yeah.
And it starts in, like, this dojo, and they beat the fuck out of it. Like, eventually, she starts hopping around like crazy, and she's, like, up in, like, the rafters, and he just starts, like, punching the fucking rafters down.
Yep.
And, like, the whole, like, rooftop starts collapsing. They run outside, and he is all of a sudden, like, carrying the prince.
Yeah.
And she's, like, fighting him at the same time as he's carrying the prince, and eventually they're in, like, a forest. And they just go batshit crazy.
Oh, they go, like, just...
They start...
They take it to 11 on this scene.
Yeah,
like
this is where they spent all their fucking money.
Yeah.
He immediately takes the prince and throws him into a tree. He's like, fuck off. I'm gonna beat up this woman. And...
I should mention in this scene, it's also funny, one of my favorite scenes that I laughed really hard at. She hits a guy so hard with a sword that he flies up into a tree. So the big bad has henchmen with him.
Yeah.
And she's like fighting him off, and she uppercuts one of them
with a sword.
With a sword. And it's not like a short tree. It's like this really tall tree. She just uppercuts him into fucking non-existence.
They make a point of it. Like, they fucking fly around like Superman in this goddamn scene.
And then she she loses her sword. They start fighting like
there's like a scene where like she like jumps into the tree and he like jumps up and it's high. It's pretty fucking tall trees. And he like punches the fucking tree and the tree just falls down.
He kicks a branch, and then he kicks a branch off another tree.
He kicks a branch off,
and then she goes to like chop him, and like she sticks her hand into a tree.
She punches a hole through the tree.
Yeah,
but with her fingers.
Yeah, just not like a fist. It's like
it's her fingers.
It's an open palm. Like,
yeah,
she's trying to like jab him, and it goes into the tree.
We also have to mention the part where one of them flies at him, remember? And he like he grabs him by the spear.
So I'm gonna stop you just real quick because we got to explain, and I'll let you explain all that. But I'm just gonna shortly explain the guy that had the spear.
Yeah.
Comes back to help the woman. And
they're all back.
And the old man comes back to fight the final guy. Mm-hmm. So now you can talk about your favorite spear scene.
So, he flies at him with the spear, like Superman. The bad guy grabs the fucking spear, and you just see a wide shot of him, like...
just flailing this guy.
This dummy.
Yeah.
It's a dummy.
It's not a guy.
Obviously.
No.
But it's just him flailing this dummy that's, like, fucking, like...
going all over the place. Throws him against a tree. The guy like bounces off the tree and like comes back like Superman's across the screen.
The funniest though is that shot of him like flailing him around because he's just ragdolling.
Oh yeah, no, it's clearly they just attached this dummy to the spear and the guy like, just flailing this thing around. It is like one of the funniest action scenes to watch. So they finally get the upper hand. He like his spear breaks and like he like gets wounded. He's kicking all their ass. Like the dragon guy is kicking all these people's asses.
But then she punches
Not yet. So the guy gets the spear and throws it into his leg,
hits
right?
his leg.
He throws it into his leg. It goes through his leg
Yeah.
and gets stuck.
And then the woman punches through him.
I wouldn't say punches. She does like open palm stabs through
She stabs like into his chest.
And it makes like cracking noises.
Yeah, it's like, I guess she's like supposed to be breaking his
ribs or
something. But he's
I
still
don't know.
alive. And then he gets impaled.
The old guy comes with a sword and like stabs him. And this dragon guy, I'll have to give him this. Like they made him fucking strong as shit.
He still stumbles around.
He keeps fighting a little bit too.
He stumbles around for like another 30 seconds.
And then like falls to the ground and dies.
Yeah.
And then they get the prince out of the tree. And
Oh yeah. And the movie ends.
the movie ends.
And the woman is walking off.
No explanation. No nothing. No
The
like
same pop song.
yeah. Same pop song starts playing as she's walking away. Doesn't even like have a scene where she's saying goodbye to anyone.
No.
Like doesn't show the old guy or the guy with the spear. It just shows the prince and the girl walking away. That's it. Like it doesn't explain jack shit. I've never seen a movie end so blatantly.
It's like the Man with No Name trilogy. Except shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the fist that kills.
Did the fist kill, Will?
The fist didn't really kill. It was a lot of swords and incoherent action scenes.
And karate chops.
Yeah, and open palm karate chops.
Yeah, maybe at the end they should have had her like punch a hole in him.
I don't get why it's called the fist that kills, because she never really kills anyone with a fist.
I don't know, Will. Why anything?
Why
live?
Do I even have to ask what your final thoughts on this film are?
It's trash.
It's
But
garbage.
I think I would recommend it just because it's such fucking.
I think if you want a good laugh, like it's
Oh yeah.
it's entertaining in the wrong ways. Like it's really entertaining to watch just because you have to like look for how bad it is.
No, it's hilarious.
It is really funny. Like it we were laughing the whole way through. Like I didn't want to shut it off
No.
because it was a bad movie. I wanted to like keep watching because it was so funny. Like watching all these incoherent action scenes, like really bad dialogue, like terrible cinematography. Everything is funny about this movie. It's hilarious.
They just kept finding new ways to fuck up.
I know. And
that's-
even when I thought they were going to get better at the end,
no.
they didn't.
I mean, that ending was the best fight scene, I'd say. But man,
I didn't know on this podcast we'd be watching comedies though, so
this was hilarious.
it was funny.
Unintentional.
I mean, if you want to find it for yourselves, I would recommend watching it just if you want a good laugh. If you want like a really dumb, kind of like stupid action movie that you can laugh at and just like enjoy for like an hour and 25 minutes. It is on Amazon Prime. I'm not going to recommend this movie as a good movie, but it's so bad that it's laughable.
It's one of the worst kung fu movies I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot. I love kung fu movies. I even love bad kung fu movies. And it is literally one of my, like, I don't think I've ever seen a movie that's bad.
It has some of the worst fight scenes, I'd say.
Well, like, in other, like, even really bad kung fu movies, like, at least the camera is, like, consistent enough where you can actually see the fists connecting.
Oh, no, Will.
They don't go off screen, and this one was, like, went off screen on every single chance. And there is a lot, in kung fu movies, there is a lot of, like, people flying at each other like that.
Yeah.
And, like, but, like, they'll land and, like, one of them will collapse, and you'll know because they both have swords.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Fuck that. Fuck that shit, Will. What you need is a goddamn sword that comes out of nowhere and stabs the motherfucker in the back.
Yeah, magical sword.
Magical sword.
Yep.
That's what you need.
Exactly.
You know that shit with... It's too fucking coherent.
Yeah, forgive me. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. You need a fucking magical swords and a fucking guy who punches a goddamn dagger out of a woman's shoulder.
You know what? Like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon ain't got nothing on this shit.
No, this is
This is special.
This is so much more artful.
But yeah, so The Fist That Kills, our first action movie, our first 1972 film. I can't wait because I think
Off to a great start.
I think we got more kung fu movies, and
one after this.
I can't wait to see how bad it gets because this is like our highest rated one.
Yeah, this has a 5.4, which I call bullshit.
It should
call
not
bullshit.
have a 5.4.
Yeah, I call bullshit.
I think there's just a fanboy that maybe upvoted it a bunch of times.
I think it's because only 20 fucking people have seen this, and 19 of them are stupid.
Maybe they're just like, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, 5 stars.
Yeah. Or they forgot that it's like, the other way around. It's not, 1 out of 10 isn't the good rating.
No, 1 star doesn't mean
1
good.
star means bad.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I get it.
Yeah, okay, alright, I understand. I can forgive him for that.
Because this is also the most obscure one we've watched.
It really is. And I would argue, like, this is the one that had the least amount of plot in any movie we've watched.
Yeah.
Like, the other ones at least had some sort of plot. Even, like, Legacy of Blood had a plot. It was garbage, but it had a plot.
Don't besmirch the name of Fist That Kills by comparing it to Legacy of Blood.
Well, I mean, they're very different movies. But, what I'm saying is, like, every other movie had, like, explanations on what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was always a reason why the people were doing what they were doing. And this one just had nothing.
No.
It just was there you go. There's your action movie. And there's action movies that do that. Like, John Wick doesn't have much of a plot. It's just about a guy that gets angry. But it does it in a much better way.
John Wick is too good for this podcast.
Well, yeah, that's true. We're never going to watch John Wick on this podcast.
Shameful.
Or like The Raid, or
shameful,
or Enter the Dragon,
fuck off.
This
is the same goddamn year as Enter the Dragon. Think about that. This came out the same fucking year
as Enter the Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And Enter the Dragon is such a better act.
This is the same year that the song Kung Fu Fighting came out.
I wish they would have played it during the movie because that would have made it even more hilarious.
Yeah, as they're fucking jumping around on trampolines and...
Someone should do a supercut of that. Just like the terrible action scenes in this and then Kung Fu Fighting.
I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know. There's so few people that have even seen this or heard of this piece of crap. We're in a very small group.
We get the privilege to watch The Fist That Kills,
like,
Alex.
There have maybe been, in the history of this movie existing, like 20 people that have seen this.
Yeah.
And now there's 22.
Yep, exactly.
We've boosted the numbers by that much.
And you heard it here first on They Mostly Come Out at Night. Now you can watch it too. You can be in that select club if you have an Amazon Prime membership or just want to rent a really crappy movie.
What? If you don't have a Prime membership, you should buy one just so you can be part of the Fist That Kills
It's
club.
a very exclusive club. You can tell all your friends.
Yeah, spread it. Spread the word.
So yeah. Yeah, 1972, off to a great start. So for They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
And this has been Alex.
And we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Yeah.